Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on August 7th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 3, 6, 45, 66, and 68. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 3 was green, the 6 was green, the 45 was green, the 66 was green, and the 68 was orange. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 3, 6, 45, and 66 were green, and the 68 was orange. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 4 green and 1 orange for 2 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to change this to 355 color code drawings I kept track of so far. Okay, and now a 2 color combination has now come up 35 times. Okay. So what I want you to concentrate on is the 3 color combination. You can see that that's come up 189 times out of 355 drawings, okay? So if you do the math real quick, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time, okay? And to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on playing a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so here's my color code right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. Okay, so basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. The red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, okay? And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the 3, the 6, the 45, 66, and 68. The next line down is the 14, 37, 47, 55, 67, and then the last line is 1, 19, 31, 48, 61. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many colors I have on the game card here. Okay, so I got 4 and 1 is 5. 4 is 9, 1 is 10, and 5 is 15. So I'm going to leave that alone right there at 15. So up here it tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start with the 22, the 29, 35, 53, 56. The next line down is the 5, 26, 36, 64, 69. The next line down is the 19. You can see that's already taken. The 43, the 47 is already taken. The 60 and the 68 is already taken. So the last line is 13, 23, 32, 35 is already taken, and the 68 is already taken. So again, I'm going to make these orange numbers, okay? So now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 4, and 2 is 6, 3 is 9, 1 is 10, and 5 is 15. So I'm going to make this 15 as well, okay? So I think you understand on how I come up with the colors, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And here's the game card for August 7th, 2019. Again, there was 15 red numbers, 15 orange. Turned out to be 16 green numbers, 15 blue, and 8 purple numbers, okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up, okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So since more than half the time 2 colors do not come up, the strategy is try to correctly guess what color won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So the thing about my game here is that we're all going to look at this differently, so we're all going to come up with a different result, okay? But for me, I'm going to go with no red numbers, okay? And it's just a gut feeling, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so when I block out numbers like these red numbers here, this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play, okay? So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these red numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these red numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups, okay? So here's group number 1, holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers where the other 6 have 10, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this here, okay? So you can see that the 3 and the 6 here were green. So I'm going to find the 3, and I'm going to find the 6. I'm going to make these square green. Now I'm making them green because the 3 and the 6 were green, okay? And the 3 and the 6 were green because the color code said it was green, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is find out how many groups got hit, okay? So the 3 and the 6 are in one group, the 45's in another, the 66 and 68 is in one group as well, so I hit 3 groups total, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so again, you can see that there's 7 groups here, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So how you read this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? Now the reason why I like to break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons, okay? One, when I go back into the history, it's easier to count, go on 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa, okay? So again, I'm going to make a prediction on what group I don't think will have the winning Powerball number, okay? And I'm going to go with the 60 numbers over here, okay? So you can see these 60 numbers been pretty hot, okay? It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drawings in a row where it had a 60 number, okay? And then it missed, and then now it had 3 more drawings where it had 60 numbers. So I'm just going to guess that no 60 numbers will be coming up in this next drawing, okay? So I'm going to eliminate the 60 numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to find the 60 numbers. Okay, here's the 65, the 60, 69, and the rest of the 60 numbers are right here. So I'll take those off the game card, and hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so I'm going to update this here. Okay, so let me go back to the game card. So you can see there was an odd, even, even. So 3 evens, 2 odds. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 400. This is 400 drawings I kept track of, and basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So because the evens won the majority, I'm going to make this 191. Okay, so out of 400 drawings, 209 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, and 191 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so here I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority. Okay, so out of this 5 drawings, the majority was odds, 3 drawings to 2. Okay. So as I go back into the history of things, I just like to look at things and see what happened, okay? So here with this last 10, you can see that there was 6 odd numbers and 4 evens, okay? So what I'm going to do is my guess or my prediction is going to be that there's going to be more even numbers than odds, okay? So I'm going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. Okay, so more even numbers. So moving on to the next one. This is high and low over here. So all the low numbers are in blue, all the higher are in red. Okay, so as I look at this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this 10 here, okay? And you can see that it's neck and neck. There's 5 each, okay? But since the high is behind the low, I'm going to say that there's going to be more high numbers than low, okay? So I'm predicting at least 3 numbers will be in this red area, okay? So I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, so when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking at these blue numbers to get rid of, okay? So moving on, I have left and right here, okay? So you can see that the last 5 drawings have been to the right, so I'm going to guess that more numbers will be to the left side here, okay? So when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking over here to the right side to do that, okay? So I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers to the left side. Okay, and the last one I have is this red and blue area, okay? The blue is way behind. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this last 10 again, okay? And you can see that it's neck and neck, but since the blue is behind, I'm going to go with more blue numbers than red numbers. So I'm going to write that down as well, okay? So one last thing I do have here is I do have something for the Powerball number, the red number, okay? There's 26 red numbers in the Powerball Lottery. So basically in this column, I just divided the numbers in 2. Okay, so if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. Over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens, okay? So the reason for the colors is, now I just look at the colors, okay? So when I see a long streak like this in red, well, I know it's going to turn blue eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So looking at this, you already had 4 blue in a row, okay? So I'm going to predict that this is going to be red. So I'm predicting a high number, okay? And I think that this will go back to blue, okay? So I'm looking at a high even number, okay? So instead of looking at all 26 numbers, now I'm just looking at the high even numbers. And that's the 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, and 26. So I'm just going to concentrate on those 8 numbers instead of all 26, okay? So that's how that works. So I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 4 different color groups, okay? So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these color groups, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So I'm going to update this right now. Okay, so again, it was the 3, 6, 45, 66, 68. So the 3 is in the red, the 6 is in the blue, the 66 is in the blue, the 45 is in the green, and the 68 is in the orange, okay? So again, the 3 is in the red, the 6 and 66 were in the blue, the 68 was in the orange, and the 45 was in the green, okay? So when it hits all 4 colors like that, I call this a row. Okay, so if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. And if there's a miss like right here, I color the background blue for cold, okay? So the object of this, again, is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up, okay? So the drawing before, if I could have correctly guessed that no orange numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these orange numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery, okay? So I like to, I got 15 of these option cards here, okay? And they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So why I kept them all with the same number, with the same colors, I mean, is I have this group 1 overview, okay? So this is all the red areas for all 15 option cards. This is for all the blue, okay? So when I look at this, when it comes to this red, the background being red or the background being blue, okay? So if there's 4 or less zeros among all 15 option cards in this red area, I color the background red for hot, okay? If there's 5 or more zeros among these 15 option cards, then I color the background blue for cold. So it gives me some separation, okay? So if I can correctly guess where a blue mark is going to come up, like let's say I think that a blue mark is going to come up in this green area, then that means I believe that there's going to be at least 5 zeros among these green areas of the 15 option cards, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction here, okay? And my prediction is option card number 2, no red numbers, okay? Now the reason why I'm picking this, and again, we're all going to look at this differently, so we're all going to come up with a different result, okay? But one of the patterns here that come up a lot is this pattern of a 1 that follows a 1. Like right here. And right here, okay? So it comes up a lot, okay? But in this red area, it's never come up. Okay, so it has an opportunity to come up here. If there's a 0 right here, that means I'll be putting a 1 right here, okay? So hopefully that's going to happen. So I'm going to say that no red numbers are going to come up. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of my game card. So I'll take these numbers off and hopefully they don't come up, okay? So I'm also going to get rid of the 25 and the 58 as well. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so over here you can see for the game card there's 5 numbers over here to the left, okay? So as I go back to the game card here, you can see that there's no numbers over here to the left, okay? So basically what I wanted is I wanted this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down. It's nice and even, okay? But that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 numbers in the lottery, okay? So I had to pair up a couple of these numbers in a square. I call it sharing the square, okay? So the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 65 and the 25, 58 and the 68, and the 53 and the 69. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is if I get rid of all these red numbers, I'm going to get rid of the 25 and the 65 and the 58 and the 68 along with all these other numbers as a group. Okay, so this is the whole group of numbers. Okay, so there's 4 and 4 is 8 and 8 is 16. Okay, but there's 2 hidden numbers here. Okay, so there's actually 18 numbers that I'm getting rid of. Okay, so moving on, the next one I'm going to pick is option card number 7. No green numbers, okay? Now, the reason why I'm picking this is because this has hit 26 drawings in a row, okay? And, you know, as you go back into the history, a 20 doesn't come up very often, okay? So here you can see that there was a 22 right here, but other than that, you know, so when it gets into the 20s like this, I just have to assume that it's going to go at any drawing here, okay? So I'm going to predict that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these green numbers, okay? So it's the 4 corners here, the middle, 34, 35, 45, 69. So again, I'm going to get rid of these 4 corners. And the 8 shares the square with the 66. The 53 shares the square with the 69. Okay, so hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? So even though I have 15 of these option cards, I only like to pick at a couple of them because of the possibility of the row here, okay? It's really hard to pick, all right? But in the last drawing, you can see that there was 4 zeros in the red areas, 3 in the blue, 2 in the orange, 2 in the green, for a total of 11 zeros total throughout all 15 option cards, okay? So there's usually plenty of zeros to choose from, okay? But it's just really hard to pick, okay? So I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, except with this, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this as well. So I have 15 of these option cards and they all have the same colors. as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, I'm going to update this here. So again, there was the 3 was in orange, the 6 is in brown, the 45 is in purple, the 66 is in yellow, and the 68 is in blue, okay? So I always like to read things left to right, so I got 1 blue, 1 orange, 1 purple, 1 brown, 1 yellow. So down here is current, okay? So here's the red area. There's no winning Powerball numbers there. There's 1 in the blue, that's 68. There's 1 in the orange at 3. There are no winning Powerball numbers in the green area. There's 1 in the purple, that's 45. There's 1 in the brown, that's 6. There's no winning Powerball numbers in the gray. And there is 1 in the yellow. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many color groups it got hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to leave this 5 green because the majority of the numbers are over here to the right side. Okay, so if I'm looking in the past for some reason, I'm looking at this 5. I see that it's red. That means I know the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you can see that I got red and blue. Okay, so if the majority of the numbers were hits, then I color that red for hot. Okay, if the majority of the numbers were misses, then I colored the background blue for cold. Okay, so this is why I make things, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority. Okay, so starting from the top here, okay, when I see something like this where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So I'm going to make a prediction on where I think the 0 is going to be, okay? And I'm going to go with this purple area right here, okay? You can see that it's been really, really hot, and I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So we'll see what happens, and I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of the game card. And that runs from the 5 down to the 61. So I'm going to get rid of the 13 and the 21 off of my game card. So hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? So moving on. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, and now that you know what you're looking for, I'm going to speed things up a little bit, okay? So I'm going to go with the red area here. You can see it's been really hot right down through here. Okay, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. The 1 to the 66. So I'll get rid of the 4 and the 7. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, off to option card number 3. I'm going to go with the brown area. So here's the brown. As I scroll down here, you can see how hot things have been. Okay, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the brown. And that's the 5 and the 34. Okay, so you can see that there's nothing to get rid of here on my game card. Okay, so here's the thing with this. Okay, again, out of these 15 option cards, the average comes out to around 3.8 to 4.2, okay? So what I mean by that is on average, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it. 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So right now I'm looking at a 50-50 pick here on average, okay? So I went with the brown. There was nothing to get rid of. So instead of coming back here and making another guess, okay, if I make another guess from this option card number 3, then my odds go way, way up that I'm going to get it wrong, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again, okay? So here at option card number 4, I'm going to go with no gray numbers. Okay, I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. and I'm going to get rid of the gray, and that's the 17 and the 69. So I'll get rid of that 20, and I'll get rid of the 54. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to option card number 5. I'm going to go with brown. So here's that brown area again. As I scroll down, you can see that things were pretty hot. And I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers right here off of the game card. Okay, so moving on to option card 6. I'm going to go with orange. So here's the orange area. See that things were pretty hot through here, okay? So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of this orange 5, 14, 21, 30 all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 46. Hopefully that number doesn't come up, okay? Moving on to 7. I'm going to go with brown again. So scrolling on down through, you can see that things are pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. And that's the 1, 10, 3, 12 all the way across. So I'll get rid of the 12 and the 16. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to option card 8. I'm going to go with green. So here's the green area. As I scroll down, things have been pretty hot down through here, okay? Pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the green numbers here. That's the 8, 13, 24, 29, all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 24 and the 40. Again, hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? So moving on to option card 9, I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue area. You see that things have been pretty hot through here, okay? And I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, and that's the 227 pattern, the pattern 227 on the left side, and the pattern 1621 on the right side. So I'll get rid of that 27. Hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, moving on to option card number 10. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm almost done. Okay, I'm going to go with the gray area here. So you can see how hot this gray has been. And I'm hoping that there's going to be a long blue streak here. Okay, so I'm going to go with no gray numbers here. And that's the pattern of 17, 28 in all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of this 28. Hopefully that number doesn't come up. Moving on to 11. I'm going to go with red. Okay, so here's the red area. And you can see how hot this red has been. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 6, 14, 17, 65, 35, 43, 56, 64. And the only one left is this 43, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to go to option card 12. Okay, and I'm going to go with green. So here's the green. Okay, so you see how hot this has been. Then it went cool a little bit. And now a little hot again. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these green numbers. And that's the 4 and the 40. And you can see that there's nothing to get rid of here. Okay, so moving on to 13. I'm going to go with gray. So here's the gray. You see how hot things have been through here? And I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll get rid of these gray numbers, and that's the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. So I'll get rid of that 36. Okay, next one is 14. And I'm going to get rid of orange. Okay, so the orange, let's take a look at this. Okay, so it was really hot up here at the top, so I'm hoping that things will stay cool down here. So I'm going to go with a 0 right here. And that's the 4, 16, 20, 32. And then the 33, 45, 49, 61. And you can see that there's no numbers to get rid of here, okay? So the last one is option card number 15. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the I'm going to get rid of this 30 number. I should have got rid of it already. I'm not sure. I must have missed it. Okay, but the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 38, 39, 44, 51, 52. Okay, so I'm going to highlight these. Okay, so again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd, so you can see that the 38, 44, 52 will make that happen. More to the high side, I think all 5 numbers will be here to the high, okay? More to the left side, you can see that these numbers will make that happen. And more to that blue area, which is this, compared to the red, okay? So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 38, 39, 44, 51, and 52, okay? So I think Sherlock Holmes said it best, okay, when he said it's a matter of deduction, okay? So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then the highlighted numbers have to, okay? So what are the odds that I made all the correct picks, okay? So let's go over the odds, okay? So the grand prize, all 5 white balls and a red ball, okay? The odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get it right, okay? My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. And what I mean by that is that the game is kind of geared up just for the white balls. Okay. So the odds of getting just the 5 white balls correct are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay. So pretty astronomical. Okay. A nice prize to win would be 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays 50,000 plus the power play if you play it. The odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, getting 4 white balls will pay $100. You can see the odds on that. 3 white balls will pay $7. You can see the odds. And if you just get the Powerball right, I think the odds are 1 in 36. Okay, so I just want to go over a budget. You can see that the odds are astronomical. Okay, so if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week. You will spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay. So in closing, I want to thank you for watching, okay? If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball, okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.